All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to read music. So if you've never read music before or you don't understand how to read music, this video will explain it. So the first thing I have here is a little chart. So on this chart, we have our treble clef symbol, which is where our right hand reads. So our right hand reads all the notes up here. And this is our bass clef symbol. Our left hand reads all the notes down here. So both the bass clef staff and the treble clef staff are made up in the same way, that there's 5 lines. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces, which are in between the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So a note, like one of these, has to be written on either a line or a space. And every single line and space represents a specific note on the piano. So if we start here in our left hand with the bass clef, for example, the second space here is the note C. Now specifically, it is the C that is below middle C, right there. And then all you do is every time you go up from a space to a line or a line to a space, it's just going up 1. So this is C. The note on the next line right there would be D. From there, you'd get to the next space E. From there, the next line would be F. From there, the next space would be G. From there, the next line is A. From there, you go above the line, which is now a space, which is B. And then you go up 1 more, and you get to a note that has a line through it. That's because we need to keep the line and space pattern going. So this is the line. This is middle C. So now middle C is actually the meeting point between the bass clef and the treble clef. For the bass clef, it's the first line above the staff. And for the treble clef, it is the first line below the staff. So there's middle C, and now it switches into the treble clef. So now you go up 1 from middle C. Below the first line on that space is D. Above that is E on the line, and so on and so forth. There's F on the first space, G on the second line, and it keeps going up, and you can keep going up. So that C there, it just keeps going in order. A, B, that C would be the next C on the staff. So that is how we determine which note we need to play, right? It's based on which line and which space, and whether it's the bass clef or the treble clef. So if we look at an example here, we'll put that to the side for now. Here's a little song that I have. Now, within the song, there's some things to recognize. See, we see our treble clef, we see our bass clef, right? So remember, right hand reads the top, so I'll put RH, right hand, and left hand reads the bottom. So now, all these little notes, we can see some of them look different. Some of them are a black circle, some of them are a non-colored in circle with a stem, and some are just ovals. So the way they look, whether it's colored in, not colored in, or an oval, determines how long you hold it for. So the ones that are colored in, like this, hold for 1 beat. The ones that are not colored in and have a line coming up get 2 beats, and the ones that are ovals hold for 4 beats. So where that comes into play is in a song like this, we will see numbers at the beginning of a song called the time signature. This tells you how many beats will be in a measure. So the number here is 4. So there are 4 beats in a measure, and we can do some math. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4, and then we have a measure line to create a new measure. So now within this first measure, this note here in both the right hand and left hand would be beat number 1 out of 4. There's 4 beats in a measure. So this would be 1, and both of these are only taking up 1 beat. So then this would be beat number 2, and these would both take up just beat number 2 because they're holding for 1 of the beats. This would get beat number 3. This would get beat number 4. Now they're all quarter notes, so they all get 1, so they'll play all together. Now in this measure, we see our left hand, there's all the oval notes for 4. So your left hand is going to hold for all 4 beats, while your right hand is going to play this note on beat 1, this note on beat 2, and then this one holds for 2 of them, so it's going to get the 3rd beat and the 4th beat, right? So this one's going to hold for both, while this one plays on number 1 and holds throughout. So we have to count the rhythms in the right hand and the left hand, but they will match up and both will add up to 4. So now we just have to review our chart and we can see which notes we need to play. So in the right hand, we have a note that's on that bottom line. We can see from here, that's the note E. So this would be E. This would also be E because it's on the same line there. This would also be E. And then this one with the little line through it, as we saw, is middle C. In our left hand, we can do the same. We're on the second space, so that is C. This one is on the 3rd space, which is E. And then you can just count up the rest. So if that's E, then the line would be F, that would be G. And then it goes back to that same note E there. So if I played this now, here is what it would look like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that is the basics of how we read music. There's really only two things you need to think about, which is one, how long you hold the note down for, right? So how long, and that's determined by the way the note looks. And then the second thing is which note you play, and that is determined by which staff it is on, whether it's the treble clef staff or the bass, and then specifically which line or space it is on. And that is all you need to know for reading music. It will take time to memorize where all these notes are, but the nice thing is it goes alphabetically so you can learn how to count, right? So if we know that this one on the first line, like this one here, is E, and you're not sure what this one is, you just have to count. You know this one's E, so then the space would be F, so then that one would be G. So when you're going up the staff this way, you count alphabetically. If you're going down the staff, like from this note to this note, you would count backwards in the alphabet. So this would be G, the space would be F, the line would be E, so right below it would be D, and so on. So that is the basics of how you read music.